And this first action, the second action also is verb without to. Don't say I would rather have a beer than having a tea. This is incorrect. Or it would rather plus subject and verb in past. So, firstly, we have talked about would rather plus verb, plus than plus verb. And here we have would rather plus subject plus verb in past. Clarity or politeness. So what I've talked about is about politeness. Whenever you say any verb in past, it's directly what it means. It means that you are talking about something but in a way which is very slight, which is very polite, and here that's what we are going to see.
Gana action, ni ushaka kwega indimi gana action, ushaka kuba umusirimu gana action.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? You are welcome again at Action College. Here we are going to have an English lesson about expressing preference and advice. And we are with the teacher Lamlat. Thank you so much. Today we have a lesson about mastering some expressions such as would rather, would prefer, and had better. As you know, in English we have different expressions which are used to talk about preference or which are used to give an advice. So without wasting much of our time, let's start with the would rather. Would rather is used when you express your preference, and it's used when you have two choices. So here we are going to see how this would rather is used when you talk about your preference in normal life. So would rather has this form. If you want to use it, you should follow. Would rather plus verb plus than, and you add verb. So would rather is used to express a preference for one thing over another, meaning would prefer, and it's used when you have a comparison between two things. Let's talk about some examples. Here we have some examples. I would rather have a beer than have a tea. So the structure is like this. I would rather have a beer than a tea. So I would rather, this is structure which is followed by verb without to. And this first action, the second action also is verb without to. Don't say I would rather have a beer than having a tea. This is incorrect. Or you can either say I would rather have a beer than to have a tea. This is incorrect. So the right form is I would rather have a beer than have a tea. Because have are verbs which are following modal verbs, and modal verbs are never followed by infinitives with to. Another example is I would rather stay home than go out. I would rather stay home than go out. I'd rather eat pizza than cook. I'd rather eat pizza than cook. We would rather watch a movie than study. We would rather watch a movie than study. The preference means that you choose one thing over another. So here you have to watch a movie than study. It's your choice. Let's move on. The second one, which is going to be would rather plus subject and verb in past. So, firstly, we have talked about would rather plus verb, plus than plus verb, and here we have would rather plus subject plus verb in past. So, what does this structure mean? As you see, this structure is different from the first one, because here we had past, we had past and subject. You get? So it means that you are expressing present or future preference, what a different person should do. For what a different person should do. Here, you use this simple past tense, not because you are talking about past activities, but I'll talk about present or future. When you use verb in the past, it means to be more polite. It doesn't mean that it's the past when you talk about modal verbs. So here, if you use would rather plus subject and then you add a verb in the past, let's see how it can be used and what it means. So, I'd rather you didn't smoke here. Here, when you use a subject here, it means that this is a wish you have for something. You get that someone else should do. It's not you. When it is you, use you would rather, you add a verb. You would rather go to school. But when you talk about someone else, what you wish for someone else, you had better use would rather and you add subject, another person, and then you add past simple and object. This past simple, it doesn't mean that it's the past, but it means you are being more polite. And this you, it means that you have brought this subject, meaning that you are here, you are talking about someone else. Instead of using infinitive, bare infinitive, verb without to, you use subject and you add past simple. So let's see some examples we can just take as model so as we can understand better this and we are going to make sure that we use it in daily life. So I'd rather you didn't smoke here. I would rather you didn't smoke here means that you are wishing someone not smoke here because here you have you and this you means that it's another person. What you want him to do is not smoking here. You get? So you would rather, I would rather you didn't smoke here. It means that that's what you wish for present time or in future, but for another person. And I would rather you didn't go out tonight. That's what you wish about, for another person. Okay? So I would rather you didn't go out tonight. And I would rather not you went out tonight. I would rather not you went out tonight. In negative form, not comes after a subject here. I would rather not you went out tonight. It follows directly the structure with rather. I would rather not you went out tonight. Let's continue with the next. The next is would prefer plus verb with inform or to. So what do we mean by using would prefer plus verb with inform or verb with to? So when verb is followed by inform, most of the time when it follows prefer, it means a verb of just preference. So it means that when it is followed by to, there is some meaning it gives. When it is followed by in, to mean that verb with inform, there is something it means. So this structure is used to compare two activities you generally like more than others or specific. Or for specific, I'm sorry. Okay, so when it is generally, it means that you have something normally you like in normal life. So that's why you are going to add in after prefer. Okay? But you have another action, you have another choice. For example, you have two choices, and then someone tells you choose. It's either a computer or a telephone. Choose one. I would rather, I would prefer to choose a computer. But normally, when you have two choices, like you like driving and you like playing football, this general like preference. You are going to say what you like normally in normal life, not what you choose between two alternatives. Here you can mean like, I prefer driving. You get? Let's continue. Here we help us to understand this better by these examples. I would prefer to watch football match more than basketball. When you say I would prefer to watch a football match more than basketball, it means specific. It's now you have two choices, and then you are going to choose one. I would prefer to watch a football match more than basketball. It means that either watch football match or basketball match. Then you turn to basketball game channel. That's what you choose right now. You have two choices right now. And here you have would prefer walking more than driving. Here you walk and you drive, normal life, you get? But you're going to say what you love. What you love is not just walking, you like driving. Or what you like is not driving, it's walking. So here, I would prefer walking more than driving. It means that walking, that's what you like generally, normal life. And it's general or habit things, you know. And I would prefer to go to the cinema. To go to this right now, okay? To go to the cinema. And I would prefer walking to driving. So another thing, like when you compare two things by using would prefer, sometimes you are obliged to use to or over to mean that you are going to choose one over another thing, or you are going to choose one thing or to another thing. Here I have I prefer walking to driving. To is like a combination. You get? And I prefer reading to watching TV. So I prefer reading to watching TV. So thank you so much. Let's continue. And would prefer that. As you see, the structure looks alike. Would prefer that. It means you are going to add another. You're going to add another sentence here, but starting by a subject. That's why you bring that as a relative pronoun. Let's have some examples. You can use it to introduce a statement. It's a statement. Following the speaker's opinion or preference. Example, I would prefer that. Then the statement comes in. I prefer that we go out to dinner tonight rather than staying in and cook. This is very obvious. This is prefer that. And number 4 is about subject plus prefer plus that plus subject plus verb in past tense for formality or politeness. So what I've talked about is about politeness. Whenever you see any verb in past, it's directly what it means. It means that you are talking about something, but in a way which is very slight, which is very polite, and here that's what we are going to see in the following examples. I prefer that you came earlier. It's not about past, but present, which is being more polite, or future which is being more polite, whereby the speak is being more polite. That's why it's past simple. Came? Okay. I prefer that you came earlier, about present or future. And he prefers that we do not urge you. He prefers that we do not urge you. It's negative form of using prefer that followed by past simple to be more polite. He prefers that we do not urge you. Let's continue with the next expression, had better. So had better plus they, this one is generally known by, it's just used normally to give a strong advice or warning. When you use had better plus they, it means that you are giving a warning or you are giving an advice in expecting aftermath, effects of what you are talking about. If someone doesn't follow the rules, what is obliged to do, here some effects are going to come in. Here let's talk about the way it is used, and we see some examples we just use to as models, so as people can start using that better in normal life. So, examples, you had better take a jacket is called. You had better take a jacket is called. Had better take a jacket is called. And she had better apologize or she will get in tomorrow. If she doesn't apologize, if it's that she'll get in tomorrow. And you had better come home early. You had better come home early. If you don't come home early, it means that here are some effects or some aftermath, yes, of what you're going to do. Okay, so you had better not tell him our secrets. You had better not tell him our secrets. Maybe he's talkative. Okay, so before I move on, here I would like to tell you that When you use had better, this is a formal expression of giving a very strong warning. But on the other side, most of people like using you better, which is informal, but it means still the same thing. Like you say, you better take a jacket, it's cold. When you say you better take a jacket, it's cold, it means that it's not that it's incorrect, but it's correct, but it's not formal, it's informal. You get? So you better take a jacket, it's cold, you better apologize, or she better apologize, or she will get in tomorrow. She better come home early. You better not tell him our secrets in negative form. So this means that it's correct. This is correct, but on the other side it's informal. So the true structure here, the actual structure is that you had better, and you continue like that. So guys, thank you so much for your kind attention. I was very pleased to be here with you again. And anytime, in case you need me here, I will be pleased to be here with you.
Gana action, niba ushaka kwiga indimi, gana action, ushaka kuba umusirimu, gana action.